Hey, this is Danny from Scare Talk. Before we get into all the horror greatness, I gotta let you know about Anchor. Anchor is the host site that we use to record our podcast. Anchor will upload your podcast to Apple and Spotify and many other listening platforms. Anchor is completely free, and you can download the app or go to the website, anchor.fm, and you can record straight on there. There's also some cool editing tools that you can use. Did I mention that it's free? Yeah, so if you want to make a podcast, Anchor is the way to go. Go check it out. Now, for the spooky stuff.
Welcome to Scare Talk, a horror movie podcast for horror fans. This podcast will cover horror movie reviews, ratings, and rankings. Now for your hosts, Danny and Joel.
All right, this is Scare Talk. I am Danny, and that's Joel.
Hey guys, I don't know if they can
Yeah, they can
see me. Okay, see. My face is getting covered by the
comments and
views
stuff. Yeah,
by the many
so many thousands of people are watching right now. And ladies, he's single.
Hey.
And then we're joined today by Mr. Myers.
Yes.
He decided,
Mikey.
You guys didn't have me on your last podcast, and so can't believe we forgot about him.
I know. Well, every time we go live, we have to include.
Yeah, we have to include who
a
we're
little,
talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's kind of rude to talk about
today.
People
You can't talk about Mikey. You can't talk about Halloween and not bring up Mikey.
Today we're going to talk about Halloween 2.
Yes.
This is the follow-up to the original 1978 film. It takes place immediately after the first one ends, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But before we get too far into the plot,
too crazy with it.
Can you tell me who's a part of this?
Yes, I can tell you who's a part of this. The actors are Jamie Lee Curtis and Donald Pleasance. Jamie Lee Curtis, you may know her in the Halloween movies, at least.
Okay.
A good portion.
She's in a few.
A few, yeah. Not even probably like half of them, but whatever. True Lies, she was also in, and Knives Out.
Yes.
For a more current movie.
Yeah. And she's going to be in the next two Halloween.
And she is. She is going to be, she's going to finish this little trilogy of movies here.
Yeah. And
Donald Pleasance was in, I don't know why I only have one movie for him, but I have Escape from New York. He was also in Halloween's 4 and 5, I believe. I don't think he was in
6.
He was in 6?
He was in 6.
Okay, I think he died like shortly after they filmed that movie. But Okay, yeah. He's probably in more of them than Jamie Lee Curtis is at this point.
Yeah, and he's
in the
way
franchise.
More important.
He is. We're going to get into that, but yeah. And the writer is John Carpenter, and you may know him from, this movie, and Escape from New York and The Fog. He also wrote.
Okay.
And the same with Deborah Hill, who is also a writer of this, and she also did Escape from New York and The Fog.
And John Carpenter is really known for Halloween and The Thing.
Yeah, actually, I think I did have The Thing on here.
Have you seen The Thing?
It's been years, but I have seen it.
Yeah, I need to watch that again because a lot of people really love that movie.
It's like a top 10 for like a lot of people as far as like horror sci-fi.
Yeah.
So
I gotta watch that again.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay, so this movie, like I was saying, takes place.
Get to the director.
Oh, sorry. Thought we were done.
No, the director, John Carpenter.
No.
Sorry. Director is Rick Rosenthal. Wow, I'm just like going off of my Halloween 1 thing there. He directed. It was in 1983, a movie called Bad Boys with Sean Penn. Not the Bad Boys that everyone knows, but a different Bad Boys. And he also directed Halloween Resurrection. So,
all right,
don't
we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we will. Months. Yeah, we will get to that at some point here.
Okay.
All right, and that is what I've got for for that. So.
All right. You're done?
I'm done. You're good.
Okay, so this one's a follow-up to the first movie. Like I said before, it takes place directly after the first film. It's like literally the beginning of the movie is like the last couple of minutes of the first movie, and then it just takes off from there.
Yes.
So, which is pretty cool. I can't think of many movies that have done that.
No, yeah, there's not too many. And if they
Sequels.
if they did, then they were usually filmed back to back.
Yeah.
To do it that way, but this came out like later. 3 or 4 years after the first one did. So to have it follow up exactly with the first one, hasn't really been done too often. Even like now,
and it's
it hasn't
pretty
been
seamless.
done too much. Yeah,
like a lot of people, I've heard of people who actually make their own version of the movie and put 1 and 2 together to make it like a double feature.
Yeah,
so that there is no like, it's not like you have to put in another disc or whatever.
Yeah,
and watch it on Halloween. It's kind of a cool idea.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
Okay, so before we get into what we liked and didn't like, this is a sequel. So I think we need to compare.
Okay, we can do that with every except for the third one, maybe.
Yeah,
the other.
Well, maybe.
In there.
I mean, this is.
But this one is.
Sequel,
yeah, it is the sequel.
It is
to it.
The number 2. So.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about Michael.
Okay.
What'd you think of Michael in this one compared to the first one?
So Michael in this one seemed to be a little bit more upset, a little bit more angry.
He's a little emotional.
Than the first, a little bit emotional. He was shot at a couple of times in the first one, or no, he
was shot 6 times.
Yeah, he was shot 6 times in the first one. So yeah, he's anyone would be a little emotional after that. So
I mean, it's, at one point he's crying blood.
That is at the end of the movie.
Hey,
but
he's
emotional. I mean, he does get shot in the face, so that's probably what that was.
Yeah,
what that was. He was literally crying blood. So yeah, I don't want to say I liked him more in this one than I did in the first one. He was a little bit more stalkerish in the first one than he was in this one, which I kind of like that aspect a little bit more of Michael Myers. That's what everyone knows him as, is the stalker. Right. This one, he was just going around like a rampage, killing people, pretty much.
Yeah, it was a little more motiveless killing.
Yeah.
It was kind of more random in this one, I think.
Which I feel like Halloween Kills is going to be more more in tune with Halloween 2 than anything else too. So so I liked him, but I liked the stalker side of him a little bit more.
Yeah. Okay.
More subtle that way, but
right. For me, he didn't have the stalkerness. They did use him well as far as him in the background at times. And, they still had that in this movie.
See shadows in the background.
Shadows, and you can tell that they're kind of angling the camera in a certain way so that you can kind of see him back there, see him walk by. Which is cool. I like that when they do that in the Halloween films. So they still have that, but as far as him, there's parts where he is so robotic. Yeah.
There were a few moments that I noticed,
doing the robot while he's walking around, and it's okay. No, I don't.
This is not my Michael.
Yeah, no, not my Michael.
Yeah.
So I would say that's probably the only negative, I would say, and why he's not as good in this one. Yeah. So, what about Dr. Loomis?
Dr. Loomis was, he's just an awesome guy anyway, all around. But
great guy.
He is a great guy. Fantastic. I liked him in this one a lot. I feel like he had a little bit more character in this movie than he did in the first one. He didn't really, he played a big part in the first one, obviously, but he definitely played a bigger part in this one than he did in the first one, I thought. He was just the doctor, the psychiatrist who is just after Michael Myers to get him back. Yeah. This one, so he was kind of more like a background character than anything, like a side character for the most part.
In the first one?
In the first one, yeah, okay. I thought. But in this one, he was definitely more of the forefront character.
Yeah. Yeah, he was more the main character.
Yeah.
even though Jamie Lee Curtis or Laurie Strode would be, I guess, considered the main character. I don't know.
No. I want to talk about that next. No. Not even close.
Okay. Yeah, so I thought his, he was kind of moving around a little more. He was doing more stuff. But he didn't have the lines. He didn't have the lines that he had in the first one.
Yeah.
As far as, like, just the way he would make Michael so much scarier by saying some things. Like, man, that guy is
Instead of
serious.
taking a scary turn, it took a dramatic turn at one point in this movie.
Yeah, this is the one where we find out the
whole Luke, I am your father type thing for the Halloween World series.
Yeah. So, I would say I liked his character more in the first one, too.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, well, yeah, he did have the lines in the first one, which, I mean, it's kind of, he had better lines in the first one than he did in this one, for sure. But, as far as, like, the character goes himself, like, besides the lines, I feel like he had more of a, his character in this one was more fleshed out a little bit than it was in the first one.
Yeah, there was, I guess, a little more to him. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We were getting to know him a little more as the series goes on. So yeah, I could see that. I guess it was just the writing. Mm-hmm. The lines that he had just weren't as impactful.
No, yeah.
So I like the first one more as far as
his impactful speeches.
Yes,
that he gave.
Okay, so then Laurie, what about
no?
What about Laurie compared to the first movie?
Okay, I'm gonna say this. As far as the final girl, she's pretty weak. Yeah, we were talking about that last time, and this one, there is really no exception to this one. In that department, I think even Nancy from Nightmare on Elm Street was a way better final girl than Laurie Strode. Sure, a lot of them were better than Laurie Strode. She was in the hospital bed 3/4 of this movie.
Oh yeah,
she was in the very beginning, the first 5 minutes of the movie. And then she went to the hospital. They put her to sleep. You would see her every once in a while, start waking up and then going back to sleep. And then she makes her appearance in the last 20 minutes of the movie, but she doesn't even do anything. She's literally running away from Michael.
Or crawling away.
Or crawling,
At times she's crawling, in so much pain, and then other times she's running. I'm like, what happened to your pain?
When she gets out of the car at the end of the movie, and she's crawling towards Loomis and the others going inside. She's like, help, help. So weak. And then until they get inside the building, and then she's like, help, screams, where was this a second ago?
Yeah.
I was just,
she was better in the first one.
She was. And that's kind of sad too, because she was, well, I mean, she didn't really have a whole lot of lines to do in this one. So, but still like her character. Her character does get better. Well, her character's over in this timeline. As far as this is the last movie in this timeline that she's in. Yeah. But if we're going to H2O, her character does get more fleshed out and it gets better. Yeah. But in this main timeline, she is a really weak final girl. Right. So.
Right. Okay, so what about the music, the score for this movie compared to the first movie?
I feel like it's pretty identical in tone.
No.
Really? I thought it was pretty similar.
I mean, the music itself is
we were talking about Halloween 3. That's a different story altogether. Yeah. That's totally different. Different podcast. But
there was just the tone, was pretty much the same. But as far as how the music sounded, it was very much 80s sounding. Yeah. Especially the theme song. The theme song, I love the theme song. In this one, it kind of annoyed me.
Alright, yeah, I think every movie the theme song gets a little bit more towards its decade that it's in. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. It was kind of, the tone was similar, but as far as, this was, 1981 when this one came out? Yeah. So it was barely 80s. And that was
I know, but it really...
it should still sound 70s at that point.
It really had And I usually, don't mind it, but it was just the theme song. Like, I hold the theme song so dear to my heart.
Yeah.
And I felt like in this one, it was just like, I kind of don't want to hear that right now, you know?
Yeah.
And in the first movie, you hear that every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, it's all over that movie.
It
doesn't really bother me that much in the first one. Mm-hmm. In this one, it wasn't as often, but it bothered me more because it just didn't sound... It just wasn't easy on my ears.
It didn't have that classic original Halloween theme.
Maybe it was too loud or the pitch was off. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's my ears.
I mean, you're getting old. So. Can't handle that loud music anymore.
Yeah. Okay, and then what about the setting compared to the first movie?
The hospital, pretty much the entire movie.
Yeah.
I liked it. I liked the change of setting. It's not taking place in a neighborhood in this one. It's taking place in a hospital, which is more like, I guess, secluded, like more impact. I liked it. I liked the different. I like the different characters compared to the first one, like a lot more.
Okay. Yeah, the other outside of Rory and Loomis. Yeah.
They actually had some decent actors in this one.
Yeah, they were okay.
Not great, but still better.
Yeah.
So it definitely had a bigger budget than the first one did, obviously, and they were able to get, better actors. It was the setting itself, I liked it because it was different, but it didn't have its classic like Halloween feel. Like it's a stalker, like it's a killer stalking babysitters is what like the whole premise of the movie is.
Right. So it's
and in this one,
kind
it
takes away from that.
Yeah, it does. But it's still a nice change of pace, a little bit to go from one setting to another.
Yeah,
like that. So I enjoyed it. It definitely, like I said, it definitely took a little bit away from the first one.
Yeah.
As far as the feel goes, with it not being set in a neighborhood, but the setting itself wasn't bad.
Okay.
So
yeah, I think it was just different.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I do want to say about the hospital though is that is a very, very dead hospital.
Yeah. There are probably more doctors than actual patients in that hospital.
And there's like no doctors.
Yeah.
And the only patient that I think we see through the whole movie, besides Laurie, is that kid and his mom. When they first introduce the hospital setting, there's that kid who has like a bloody nose or something, and then they go in, and then they come out. I don't even know why they're in the movie. They add nothing to the movie
to show that the hospital has patients.
I guess, in case we didn't know that this was a hospital or something. Let's have a kid with a
insane asylum. What's going on here?
So yeah, I mean, there was literally no patients.
No,
nobody walking the halls except for one nurse, maybe at a time.
Yeah,
and they're only walking the halls to get killed.
The patients could have been just in their rooms the entire time.
Yeah, I guess
with no visitors.
Yeah. Or Michael just killed everybody.
Yeah, he could have already off screen. He could have already just done that.
Yeah, we don't know. But I thought that was weird, and I think maybe that's to add to the darkness. When there's a lot of people around, it kind of takes away from the atmosphere. So maybe that's what they were kind of going for. It really stood out to me. I'm like, there's some really healthy people in this town.
Yeah.
So. I just thought that was weird. But yeah, I like the neighborhood setting more than the hospital setting. But I understand why they use the hospital. I mean,
can't do the same thing twice. That's kind of boring.
She needed to go to the hospital.
And she did.
Yeah. So what can you do?
So let's just have it out the hospital. Let's move our set over.
Yeah. So, okay. You want to talk about positives, negatives?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right. So, what did you enjoy?
I enjoyed, for the most part, the story. I mean, again, going back to Halloween 1, and in franchise in itself is pretty one-dimensional. It's a simple story, really.
Yeah.
And this one is really no exception to that. It's Halloween 1, but in a hospital. There's more. I think there's a little bit more death scenes in this one than there was in the first one. And they only killed like 2 or 3 people in the first one. They killed a few more people in this one. so that was cool. I liked as much as I liked Halloween 1 Michael. I also liked Rampage Michael. Like, doesn't care. He's just going to kill everybody that he comes in contact with, which he wasn't really like that in the first one. I like that aspect. The acting was better than the first one. Mm-hmm. So acting wise, it's a neutral for me.
Yeah. It's an improvement.
It's an improvement, but it's still still not great. So the killing scenes were pretty good. I liked because he uses different ways instead of just his knife to kill people.
Or like choking.
He choking, and then the one in like the hot tub, like he turns the heat up and just like dunks her. The nurse keeps dunking her until like her face is melting off and like it didn't get too ridiculous. Like you all of a sudden would see like her skull or something like that. That's
it looked pretty legit.
Yeah,
like
this is actually what would probably happen if you're in 150 degree temperature.
But when it comes to that, like there's this like guy, I don't even know what he is. Is he a nurse or?
He's a nurse. I think he's a nurse. I'm pretty sure. I don't think he's a doctor.
Yeah, well, she's a nurse.
Yeah,
as well, and it's like they have time to go get in the hot tub together. And
yes, of course.
What? And there's a hot tub?
Yeah. I don't know what hospital you're at.
Maybe it's for like physical therapy or something. I don't know.
Could be.
But that's just like okay.
Yeah, I know. That was kind of. It had to be there for the scene.
Yeah, I guess.
But it's the only time you even see that hot tub is in that one scene, and it was utilized pretty well.
It definitely was.
But I don't know what hospitals have hot tubs in the first place, but I did like that, and I mean the guy just got choked, which whatever. It's kind of a lame death, but it's different than just stabbing people with your knife. So it was a different. I liked some of the death scenes in it, and like I said, the story. I kind of feel like I have to put that in neutral because it's still not great.
As far as, well, I guess we can talk about this. What about the spoiler alert?
If you haven't seen it, or are you talking about
the relation, the brother-sister thing? Because we find out that brother and
Michael
sister.
And Lori are brother and sister, which I don't remember seeing. I think there was a baby in the very beginning of the first movie.
No.
Was there a baby in there? I could have sworn that there was in the room that they were in before he killed his older sister.
No.
Oh, okay.
You are incorrect.
All right. I am sorry. I am
Rob
wrong.
Zombies.
Rob Zombies. Because we already knew about this, but it would have been different if they had actually showed like a baby in the house. But just throwing that in there at the end of the movie, just like it was like a afterthought, basically.
Yeah.
They're like, how do we make this more dramatic?
Right.
You don't need it to be dramatic.
I want to put a twist in.
Yeah. So,
but then they run with that for up to H2O or Resurrection.
Resurrection, even. Yeah.
Because in the 4 through 6, it's still like he's going after family.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All related to Lori and him. So.
You're like, how do we continue this story after this movie?
His third cousin removed.
Yeah. So that was... I wish it had been done better. Because it was just like... And Loomis didn't even know. Like, how was he his doctor for, like, what, 12 years or something like that? Mm-hmm. Like, his entire adulthood, pretty much. Like... childhood leading up to where he is now. How does he not know, looking into medical records, that he has a sister?
Yeah.
How does that slip by your mind? Like,
I don't know.
Because the way that they do it is, there's this secret file. Like, what? That this one nurse who he's in a car with. Yeah. I think she's a nurse. I don't even know. But it's like they're in the back seat of a car, and she's like, there's a secret file on Michael. And he's like, what? No, there's not.
Secret file that his doctor doesn't know about.
Yeah, like that shows that. Spoiler alert: Michael and Laurie are brother and sister. Like, no.
Yeah.
It was just kind of thrown in there.
I think they tried to make sense of Michael, like why he wanted to get to Laurie specifically. But to me, it kind of makes Michael too human, you know?
Yeah.
It makes him...
To have a sister, to have family.
Yeah, I don't want him to have family. I don't want him to have a motive. He's just a killing machine. Yeah. And if you get away, that's why he's going to continue to go after you. Not because you're his sister. And I know he killed his sister, you know, initially. That was kind of the beginning of his madness. But I don't know. And another thing I forgot to bring up in negatives in the first movie, and I'm going to bring up now, is his mask comes off in the first movie toward the end. Yeah. When she thinks he's dead and he does his whole sit up and, you know, walk over to her. He's like choking her, and then she like is able to get his mask. Yeah. And like you can kind of see him for a minute, and he looks like just this young, you know, 18-year-old or something. It's like, no. Yeah. No.
It's not like Michael... Jason when he has, like, takes the mask off and it's like this alien, like, creature thing.
That's bad, too.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. There's got to be, like, a middle ground.
No, he doesn't have a face. Michael's face is this. This is what his face looks like. Even under the mask.
Oh, man. Under the mask, there's another mask.
He doesn't have a face, in my mind.
Yeah.
So you can't... No. So that I forgot to mention that.
Okay.
And I remembered it when I watched the second one recently because they showed it in the beginning, and I was like, "Oh yeah,
yeah."
I meant to mention that. So, anyways,
Michael has no face.
Yeah. What did you like? Anything else?
Not really.
No.
To be honest, yeah. I mean, it was good. Yeah. But I think I said what I liked about it. Like, I think most of what I liked about it was actually like neutral to me. Yeah. So.
Yeah. For me, like you said, the kills were a little more creative. I like the kill where, even though this one's, you know, he's using a knife, but where he lifts up the nurse.
Oh, yeah.
And then her shoes fall.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
pretty intense.
He still used the knife, but it was in a different way.
Yeah. I like that. I like the use of him in the background, like I was saying before, some of the camera angles. And Loomis. I like Loomis. I like him in all the movies, pretty much.
He's the final girl.
Yeah.
The true final.
The final man.
Yeah.
And, you know, I kind of like how it ended. Thought it was kind of a creative way to kill him.
I didn't mention that on purpose.
The sacrifice of Loomis. So I thought that was kind of cool. I mean, nothing super special, though, about it. You know, it's hard to make a sequel good because you've already laid the groundwork. You know? That's what made Halloween good to me was a lot of the groundwork that was laid. Yeah. You know, a lot of the daytime stuff is what I liked about Halloween. Yeah. Is, you know, Michael's stalking throughout the day. When you have... that already laid out and that's already in the past. Now you can only follow up with that. He can't really do that again. You know, it's still the nighttime. Yeah. And so it didn't have that impact.
Yeah, there was no daylight in this entire movie. Yeah. No. It all took place in 2 hours or something like that?
Yeah, it seemed like it was like real time.
Yeah.
A scene I did like though was the like very beginning as the movie starts. You know, little, I don't know, like 5-10 minutes in. You see Michael from Michael's point of view, and you see him in the like behind the homes in the backyards, and you can see what he's looking at, and it's Loomis getting into a police car, saying "I shot him 6 times" and all that, and they're looking for him, and he's watching them. Yeah, you know? And he's just going through the different neighbors' homes, looking in their windows, and you know, creeping in. He grabs a knife. Yeah, he goes into another house, like. That's the kind of stuff I like. Yeah. Like, his stealthness.
So, you like the first 10 minutes of the movie?
Yeah, well, especially. I like that a lot.
Because it still had that Halloween 1 feel to it.
Yeah, that felt like Halloween 1.
Yeah.
And then another scene I liked was when, you know, that one guy, that fake Myers, who gets for some reason, they ran into him and it exploded. Like
that was going to be a negative of mine.
Okay, well, we won't talk too much about that. But they're wondering, was that him or whatever? And then as everybody kind of leaves, then you see the real Michael walking just down the street, and that's what's cool about the Halloween setting is he can do that.
Yeah,
he can just walk out in the open because he's in a Halloween costume.
Yeah,
nobody's gonna suspect.
Yeah,
I mean, unless you watch the way he walks. It's kind of you can kind of tell that guy's kind of up to something.
Yeah.
But I like that. And this Halloween, I'm going to try and do that.
Just
in the neighborhood. I'm
get
just
like
going to try and walk around.
Halloween mask, Michael Myers mask, and just walk around the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Holding like a fake knife.
Yeah. Hopefully I don't get shot. So yeah, those parts I really liked. And it did feel like the first movie. That's why I liked it. Other than that, nothing really too special.
Yeah.
All right. You're dying to talk about some things you didn't like, so we'll do that.
So the first one is what you just brought up, the whole Loomis sees Michael.
Yeah.
And goes after him, and he gets hit by a car.
Yeah.
He gets pinned between the cop car and a van, and all of a sudden it just blows up.
Yeah.
And then it turns out it's not even Michael.
But what I want to know about that is, where was this cop driving? Because he would have driven right into that van.
Yeah. I don't know.
Like he didn't swerve or anything.
Yeah.
He hit that guy and straight into the van. So
maybe Michael threw his knife at him right as he was coming, so he was already dead at that point. I have no idea.
No, he got out of the car.
He did get out of the
He's
car.
Like,
right.
he came out of nowhere. Yeah. So dumb.
So I had an issue with that because that's just lame. That's just poor writing. Yeah. And also, where did that mask come from?
Yeah.
Like Michael Myers is the only one. That's his mask. This happened immediately after the first one. Yeah. It's not like
nobody had this mask before. No. This is an original.
This is an original. Yeah.
Nobody ever knew about it.
It really, I really think that it was.
It did exist though, because Michael found it. He didn't make the mask.
Well,
himself.
I mean. Did he? We don't know that, right?
Well, they just said that he went into a Halloween store, or no, like a drugstore and grabbed one of the masks.
Oh, okay.
So in the first movie,
so somebody else could have bought this. Okay, well, yeah, in the same. All right, well, that's
I know what
that's
you mean,
neither here nor there,
yeah,
but
I know what you mean. I'm just trying to make sense of it.
I know. And also. Okay, you were talking about the end, how you thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
If this was the final Halloween movie,
yeah,
then okay. Like, if we were not going to see Dr. Loomis or Michael Myers in any movies following this up,
yeah,
fine. I can accept that. He sacrificed himself and blew up Michael, who was shot twice in the face, still lived. Although he was kind of blind and couldn't really, he was swinging around.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
great sound effects.
Oh yeah. Very realistic. So that would be cool if they had. I don't know if they had an actual plan to stop after Halloween 2.
Oh, they did.
They did. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because we didn't get Halloween 4 till 88.
Halloween 3 didn't have Myers.
No. Yeah.
They were done with him.
Yeah. So if you're looking at it that way, you should have. I don't want to say it, but you should have just had Dr. Loomis die in this movie. Because he got blown up.
He does. Seemingly, right? He doesn't show up later in this movie. After that.
Well, this is the very end of the movie.
Well, no, I know, but so it's assumed that he's dead.
Yeah, but he comes back and forth.
Well, I know, but
but I'm just.
This is supposed to be the end.
Yeah, it's supposed to be end. But that's what I'm saying. Like for Halloween 4, as much as I would still like him to be in it, he shouldn't have been in it.
Yeah,
because he's a human. He got blown up. He blew himself up. Yeah. There's no coming back from that.
And he just has some burns.
And he's got a scar on his face. Okay, that's realistic. But
that's Halloween 4.
No, I know. Yeah, we're not talking about that one. But at the same time, this guy, Michael Myers, was shot 6 times in the first one.
Mm-hmm.
He was shot another 6 times.
I shot him 6 times.
He shot another 5 or 6 times in this one, and shot twice in the face.
He's not a person.
But when
evil.
did he?
He's
when
just
did he?
walking evil.
When did the person Michael Myers die? And this whole like spirit Michael Myers
doesn't matter. You're thinking
I want to
too
know.
hard. No, yeah, he has like supernatural powers because he can like just show up and then disappear.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can.
you just have to accept that.
I can accept that with like Freddy Krueger because it's a dream.
Yeah.
But Michael Myers, you're just a guy, man.
he's not a guy. That's why he doesn't have a face.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that was, for the most part, those were my negatives for it, and just like, because I mean, if you're watching this and you think that this is literally the final movie, then okay, that will be a positive for me. But knowing that there's another like 11 of these movies left, or at least in this timeline, there's still 3 more.
Yeah.
Then the ending just doesn't work.
Yeah. Not after those other movies have been made. When it was made initially.
When it was made, it was an amazing ending, I'm sure.
Cool.
If you saw it in theaters for like the first time, and there were no Halloween 4 or 5 or 6, then that would be a positive for me. But that's knowing what we know. It can't be.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I thought it was cool, but because I thought I'd just take this movie as a standalone movie. So negatives for me is that scene where that guy gets hit and the cop runs into the van. Like, just, I don't understand it.
It's just,
and I kind of like the idea of like,
unless the van was backing up,
and maybe
like maybe it was the van's fault.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to get the police report on that one. Talk to the insurance companies. Well, that guy killed a guy, so
yeah, he did.
Hopefully, it was a homicide.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of like someone that maybe it was dressed similar and then was killed, and was that him or wasn't him. I kind of like that, a little added mystery, because Halloween's very straightforward. So you kind of got to add a little something, to make it a little more complex.
Well, they added that dramatic twist at the end too.
Yeah, and they added that at the end. You don't do it at the end though. You do it like at some point other than
in the middle or the beginning.
Yeah.
Laurie doesn't even know. Like she never even finds out in this movie.
Yeah.
She just never gets to know that.
Yeah. So I mean, those are a couple of my negatives. We will be reviewing Halloween 2 from Rob Zombie in a few months. Mm-hmm. And so
it's going to be a divisive movie for...
Yeah. I kind of want to, when we do that, if I don't remember, compare this Halloween 2 to that Halloween 2. And we'll do the Halloween original to his...
to his original as well. Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting. A very, very different take.
Oh, yeah.
on what the sequel could be. Mm-hmm. All right, so those are our negatives. What is your grade?
So as far as the grade goes, I enjoyed it. I really liked this movie. Not nearly as much as the first one, but that's going to be true for all of these movies, really, going forward. I'm still... I think I gave that one like a 95. I'll probably give this one like an 88.
Okay. I'm going 82.
82. Yeah, all right.
I had 98 for the first one.
Yeah.
82 for this one. I think I like a couple of the other sequels a little more than this. So I wanted to give more room there.
Yeah, yeah, that's probably true. I probably should have given mine... I'll give mine an 85.
Okay.
Because it's still B. So... And this one's just like a... Yeah. I gave the first one just like a straight A. I'm giving this one a straight B.
Okay.
Because there are 10 other movies we still have to do in the Halloween franchise.
Yeah.
So this one's getting an 85 for me.
Okay.
So
cool. This was our first live.
First live, yes. First ever live.
So
watching history in the making.
Yes. So if you are watching live, you already know that we're on Facebook.
Yes.
But if you're listening to the edited version of this, Find us on Facebook at Scare Talk Podcast, on Twitter at Scare Talk Pod. You can listen to us on pretty much anything now. Also, just wanted to throw this out there. Our setup is very simple. And we use just a podcast microphone, a laptop, and that's it. And we use Anchor, the host site for our podcast, and it's free.
Yeah.
So literally anybody can do this.
Yeah.
So
and
make your dreams come true.
If your dream is to make a podcast, then yes.
Yeah.
Do it.
Just do it. You know? If we can do it,
it's true. It. Nobody's holding you back but you.
It's so inspirational.
I try.
All right. I think that's it.
All right.
Well, this has been Scare Talk.
Sleep tight.
Don't let Mikey Part 2 bite.